we're back with another 2 races today in FXR. First up we've got Japan, which to be honest wasn't really worth making its own video because there wasn't a lot to show from this one, but it did actually have 2 starts that you're about to see here. This was the first one. Young, who was on pole, actually disconnected before the start, and I got a good run on him here, but then John was running outside, we all met in the middle there. I spun off, and yeah, it wasn't a great start to my race, but well, thankfully for me, this one got restarted. I don't know exactly why. Well, it's apparently because of connection issues, but I didn't actually see exactly what those ones were. But WJ's crashed out then. Get to Go was one of the ones who's having issues disconnecting and rejoining by the looks of things. But nonetheless, that race soon got restarted, and we're back here now then on the grid, where Young didn't actually rejoin, so we're actually bumped up to pole position as well. So that's worked out not too bad for us then, as we're just loading everything back up now then. We're going with the same strategy as before because we started inside the top 10. We're on the medium tyres then. We're going to try and extend the stint if we can. The lights are coming on now. And well, away Jono has gone. And now away the rest of us go then. But yeah, Jono then with a massive jump start there then. And there's no Pyro today or Psycho Switch, so me and Jono are maybe the two most likely to win this race. And well, he's gone and jumped the start there, so that's only made things a lot more straightforward for us potentially, as we see a replay down at the start. I'm not sure what Jono did there, but I guess, you know, once he jumped the start there's no point in sitting around, and yeah, he just went for it then. And then the rest of us came into turns 1 and 2, and it all seemed to be pretty clean there compared to the first start. But yep, Jono then pitted at the end of that lap to serve his drive-through penalty for that. So we move up into the lead then, and we already started to build up a bit of a lead here then. And yeah, I ended up just deciding to extend this stint out a bit. The initial strategy was to go for mediums to hard, but I found that if I could look after my tyres a bit, then I could extend this stint out to go on to soft tyres at the end, and that would be more enjoyable for me, I think. So that's what I decided to do. We managed to extend the stint out then until lap 17, where we're now going to pit for our only stop in this race. And yeah, things aren't going too badly for us at this stage then. But as I said, no Pyro, no Swish. We had Young, who actually got pole but then disconnected. Jono was on the front row but then jumped the start. So a lot of people who could have probably challenged us today have all, you know, fallen by the wayside. So yeah, this is why this one wasn't really, well, didn't really have a lot worth showing. As we exit the pits now then. In second place, Hudrat, I don't think has pitted yet, I'm not sure, or if he did, he pitted a lot earlier and is going to be up into lead, but we'll now have fresh tyres to come back at him here quite quickly. As you can see, we just have a lot more speed than this really is, and now through the Dunlop curve we're going to get a very good drive then, and towards the 2 diagonals we're going to get the lead there then. And there we go, back up into first position, as we just had much better drive there than we see again, just carrying so much more speed through his fast corners with the soft tyres there, and it was quite straightforward in the end then to retake the lead. And there wasn't really much else that happened after that, which is obviously why I didn't bother making this into one video, as we now have just a few more corners to go. Then we're nearly 19 seconds clear then, as we approach the checkered flag now then. I think some other people maybe did the same strategy. I think Hudrat actually did do the same strategy as me there. Some others going for 2 stops, some going for the mediums to hard or soft to hards, but we did just did our thing at the front, and yeah, we took the victory then. And that's, I think, 6 now then that we've won in a row. Obviously we wrapped at the championship in Russia, so it doesn't really matter too much in terms of the Drivers' Championship now, what happens for us then in these remaining races. But still, it's nice to rack up another victory there then. And yeah, those are the final results then. We took the win from Jono. IRL Schumacher was in 3rd, Hudrat in 4th, and yep, his teammate Leon Chambeau was then in 5th place. So yeah, that one, not a lot happened there, but thankfully this next race in Austin was more of an eventful one, as here we are then in qualifying. So we made it through then the first 2 knockout sessions then. I think we just about had enough people in for a full qualifying But I think Pyro had a penalty for this race, so he didn't qualify, or he just didn't. He just chose not to. But whatever the case was, I'm pretty sure he was at the back in this race. I went through Q2 then on the medium tyres, so I'll be starting on those. So we'll just have to see now then where I can put myself on the grid. Obviously want to be as high as possible then to really make that alternate strategy work. But obviously we'll have to wait and see then how things play out in the race. Tyre wear is quite bad around here, I think, so it may well be quite hard to even do a one stop, even if we do start on mediums. But it may well benefit us later on in the race if we can go on to softs when everyone else is on harder tyres maybe. We'll see what we can do then. This isn't, I wouldn't have said normally one of my better tracks, but I think on this game I'd like it maybe more than I have in some recent years. So yeah, I was hoping to maybe get a decent result here then and maybe keep the win streak going. As we now got a couple of corners to go now, then we've got Getsugo who's gone off the track there on his final run. But for us then to the line, we go second then in the end, quite a way off Swico Switch in the end. He had quite a comfortable pole position there with a 30.0, 4 tenths clear of us, and then a new driver there crowding in third. Pro Tricks is fourth, then he raced in Russia I believe, Leon in fifth, Korg sixth, Ched seventh, and then Foreman, Getsugo and Speed Demon rounding out the top 10 there then. On to a race where there is actually going to be some rain towards the end, going by the forecast there, so we'll have to see how that plays out then. We may well be on the right tyres to go a bit longer into race there then on the mediums, but it depends on just when that rain comes. You can never really tell, even though it says it's right at the end. I mean, you don't know, do you? But we'll see what we can do then. Obviously it's clear skies at the moment, so yeah, it's not looking like it's going to be for a while yet, but it does seem likely that it will come then at some point during this race. As we'll see then how this early part of the race plays out then, because well, we're on mediums but no one around us seems to be on them, though everyone else seems to have gone for softs, at least in this top 5, so we'll have to see what our pace is like. It could be quite hard initially, but hopefully later on in this stint we'll be able to find some good pace then and bring ourselves into play here then, as we now head towards the grid then and line up then on the front row of the grid, and the lights are coming on now. And away we go, and as you may expect then, on medium tyres down the dirtier side of the track, we've had not the best start there. Crowding's on our outside then, we braked a little bit early into turn 1, then we got hit from the inside there then, and then on the exit we also got another tag there, then that dropped us a couple of places there, then down to 4th, but it's been a right mess at turn 1 then, a load of cars off the track, so we really didn't lose all that much in the end then. We're down to 4th place then with Psycho Switch run off at the front, Ched's up to 2nd, and Crowded then has actually stayed in 3rd then, so Ched's that's made a few gains there then, but we've actually suffered some front wing damage in that little mess there then. But onto light green damage then, you see a replay of the start, and we were just a bit slower away than those around us then. Crowdin looked like he had a pretty good start there, Ched's had a good start as well, but then he actually cut across, I think it was Leon and Getsugo there, and then he ran into us, and then at the back there the 2 Renaults actually sandwiched the 2 Hasses, I think because Getsugo got caught up in that incident. I'm not sure if it was him or if it was Foreman, but one of the 2 Renaults anyway. But yeah, it was Cheds who really sort of started that one off there then, and yeah, that gave us a bit of front wing damage there. The virtual safety car didn't last long enough for us to pit on this lap unfortunately, which I would have quite liked to do, what I've done, but we nearly lost the back end out of the penultimate corner there, but we are catching up to Cheds at least here then, so we may well be able to gain the place back now then, as Crowden has already overtaken him up towards turn 1 then, and on the brakes we're up the inside and we are through then and into 3rd place for the time being. But obviously with that front wing damage we'll have to see what exactly we can do, as we actually are going to pit then on this lap, just because we were losing time to the 2 Ferraris there. I just thought we might as well just come in now then, get this front wing fixed, just see what our pace is like after that, and just see how things go after that basically, because I just thought that obviously, you know, I think everyone's going to be making multiple pit stops in this race, so we may as well just get one of ours out of the way now then, and just yeah, go on to another set of mediums and do basically what we were going to do before, and run a bit longer into the race, and yeah, see how things are looking by the time we get towards probably our next pit stop. But yeah, we're down to 12th place then. Jono looks like he's also had some damage at some point then, because he's down in 13th position, although he did start at the back there. Pro Tricks and has disconnected by the looks of things, so that was an easy place to take there. Then that moves up to 11th place in this race. Obviously down to 12th then for points, so we didn't actually drop out of the points, but yeah, 11th is a lot lower than where we would like to have been. Cheds then pits, that moves us up into the top 10 in this race, and you can see that we're catching Getsuga very quickly, and that is because he did get front wing damage then in that incident at the start, so we are catching him very quickly then. He hasn't pitted for that to repair that damage, so that's why we're catching him so quickly here then. And towards this tight left-hander then, we're up the inside, we just see the gap, and I think maybe he didn't expect us to go for that then, because he did turn in a bit, but we got the move done then. Then there was nearly a little bit of contact there between him and Jono as well, so I think the Renault just lost the back end a little bit on the exit there. But yeah, they managed to get away without any damage there. But Jono then is looking quite quick at this stage, and obviously because he's on the soft tyres there, so he'll be looking to probably try and get past as soon as possible then, because obviously those tyres won't be lasting as long as ours there then. So we're going defensive here then, because also I want to try and keep him behind if at all possible, but that may well not be possible here then, because he is looking very quick at this stage then, and well, we maybe don't want to lose too much time here then, because you know, we really both need to start moving ourselves up the field a bit. We can't really afford to spend too much time here scrapping over 9th position. As we're out onto the pit straight now then, he's got a good run here with DRS. We do go defensive here, but he's going to run outside, and if he can, we cover the apex there, but he's now going to do a bit of a switch back then. He's going to go around the outside of turn 2, is he? We're going to be side by side towards the S's, but he's ahead just before we get there, and he manages to move himself up then into 9th position. He does already have 6 seconds penalty, so that could work out into our favour then later on, if we're still battling by that point, and as long as we keep it clean as well. By the end of the lap then, he's already passed Kev, and we were now catching up to the racing point as well then, so we'll be looking to try and clear him as quickly as we can. It's quite slow there through the penultimate corner, and that gave us a good chance then to just get the inside then into the final corner there, and that's another place gain then up into a 9th place. Pyro is in the pits now then. For his first stop, he started near the back, but he obviously moved himself up the field a bit during this early part of the race, and he's going to rejoin then a few seconds behind us now, so we'll have to watch out for him coming back to us then in a few laps time. Foreman now pits, so does Korg, Leon, and also Speed Demon there, so whole host of cars in the pits there. That moves up to 4th position in this race. There's a lot of drivers now making their first stops in this race and having started on the soft tyres era, I would guess. And yeah, for us though, the medium tyres then are starting to come into play a bit then. Obviously the soft tyres are starting to go off, and so that is allowing us to catch back up to Jono here then, and we'll see then with DRS if we can make a move on him here then. We're gaining quite a lot down the straight, and this should be quite a straightforward move then, down into the left-hander here, and we are through then and back up onto the podium then. But Pyro not far behind either. He's caught up very quickly then on those fresh medium tyres, so we're going to have to watch out for him as well then before too long. Jono pits there then, and Crowding is now going to pit as well for his first stop in this race. That is actually going to move us back up to 2nd place then, so things certainly not looking too bad here then. We've got Pyro close behind us though, and in fact at turn 1 we just lose the back end there completely. Managed to save a spin on both sides, but yeah, we lost a few seconds there then, as well as 2 places to Pyro, and then Crowding as well coming out of the pits there. So yeah, a bit of a mistake from me there, and yeah, it was a costly one, so we lost a couple of positions, and after that I decided to just go off those medium tyres a couple of laps after that, just because they were starting to go off. I was losing time to Crowding and Pyro, and there was also rain forecast as well. We were finally starting to get word that the rain was coming, so I decided that going on to soft tyres now until the rain came down would probably be the best call then. Just try and push as much as possible, and hopefully by the time these tyres are going off, the rain will be coming down. and we can go on to intermediates then. We rejoin then in 8th position, so we've got a bit of ground to make up once again then, but we should have some good tyres now then to push and start gaining some places back. The first target then is going to be Foreman then in the Renault. We've got a good run down the pit straight, and we should be able to get this one done into turn 1 on the brakes, work me inside, and we do a bit of a block pass there then, and we get through up into 7th position. And Jono next at the road. Here's a replay then of our overtake, and it's a bit more aggressive than I intended there, but I think it was just a bit of a block pass there on the apex there, just making sure he didn't do a switchback there. And yeah, let's move up to 7th place then, and we're catching Jono very quickly then, and by the end of the lap we caught him back up here. So it's looking like we'll be having another battle here then. He defended the inside line for no real reason there, because I wasn't looking to make a move, and that's allowed us to get a better run now then out of the first corner. And round turn 2 we're running outside there, and we're getting a great run. Are we going to repeat what actually he did? Well, not quite, because we couldn't quite get ahead for the S's. He managed to keep his foot in it there and stay ahead, and that is going to well, maintain 6th place for him for the time being. But we seem to have a lot more pace then on these fresh soft tyres, and we should hopefully get this move done now then with DRS once we head down this back straight. We just stick into the back of him here, then there's no point risking a move into any of these corners, because now we can just use the DRS here then, and we will be ahead. And yeah, it was quite a straightforward one in the end then, with a bit of rich and overtake as well there. So yeah, we were through then comfortably before we got to the corner there, and we're up to 6th position, 8 seconds behind Cork now. We'll see if we can bring that gap down, and then the 13 seconds to Leon as well. Korg actually does pit then again in this race, so that's going to move us up a position then. So he didn't, well, I'm not sure when he pits actually, but he couldn't quite make it until the rain came down there by the looks of things. We were making good progress then on Leon up in 4th, but we were about 16.5 seconds behind Crowdin, so it could be a bit difficult to catch up to him, but he does have a lot of penalties though, so that could play into our hands. As we see then, Leon does actually end up having to pit as well then, as it's getting very dark now, so we can't be too far from the rain, so we're just trying to hang on to these tyres for just a few more laps here then, and hopefully we can just come off these and go straight into inters. The rain is now finally starting to come down here then at the end of lap 22. Pyro's now in the pits, but that surely won't be for inters at this stage. I think he's got into another set of soft tyres there, so he's going to rejoin just behind us, but I don't think too far. It's only a couple of seconds, so we're going to have to watch out for him then, because he's got much fresher tyres than us. And in fact, by the end of the lap he was already right on the tail of us here then, and I think it's going to be quite an easy overtake for him here, as yeah, he's just got so much of a better drive there then, and he's going to be straight around the outside here then in this long right hander, and yep, through he goes then up into 3rd place then. But he also has quite a few penalties as well, so if we can stick with him then we may be in with a chance of retaking a position here. But yeah, by the next lap, I hadn't had the call for inters yet, but I lost nearly 6 seconds on that lap to Pyro, so I just had to pit. I had to get off these tyres because they weren't going the distance, and yeah, I didn't want to waste another pit stop going on to another set of dry tyres, because there just wouldn't be any point. So we're going for a bit of an early call here then to go on to intermediate tyres, but they should get us to the end now then, and the track should at least be damp enough for us to, you know, not completely burn them out in these last few laps. I was hoping for a bit of a reverse of that Singapore race back in AOR, where it was actually the track drying up and I went on to soft tyres near the end. I was hoping for a repeat of that, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case, especially as we had a bit of a gust of wind there then, and that caused us to run off the track. But I do think that some cars are now pitting for inters then. We've got Leon in front of us, and so does Jono as well, so we're going to gain back places on them. We should do, because they were only about 9 seconds up the road there then, so we'll retake places off them. I think Crowding also pitted there. Yep, he did. He's on inters now. Pyro and Swish haven't pitted yet, so it'll be interesting to see then what happens on this next lap then, because rain is coming down a lot more now then, and in fact both of them do pit. Swish rejoins in the lead, and Pyro then is just about gonna come out in front of us then, so if we hadn't made that mistake a couple of laps ago, then we may well have been on the podium there. But nonetheless, Crowdin has 18 seconds of penalties, Pyro has 6 seconds of penalties, so we should be looking pretty good here actually to finish in second place, because we haven't picked up any penalties of our own. So as long as we keep it clean then for these final couple of corners, we're going to gain a couple of places once we cross the line then out of the final corner, and we come to the checkered flag now then, and we do move up then to second place in this race, which yeah, I think is a very good result then in the end, considering we did start in second place. We obviously had damage at the start from that turn 1 incident, so I think to recover to where we started, there's certainly nothing to be disappointed about there then, as yep, Psycho Swish then takes the win for what I believe is the 4th time this season. And yeah, it was just an absolutely dominant drive from him then. He got the fastest lap as well there then, so it was the full 26 points then for him today then, and that should have, well, that should help him then in his bid for yep, second place in the championship today then. Pyro down in 4th, so that will have done him a few favours there than I would have thought. So yeah, we were second then. Crowdin on his debut was in 3rd. As I said, Pyro was 4th, Leon in 5th, and Johnny then in 6th in the end there. In the championship, obviously we've already wrapped at the driver's title, but we are looking good for the constructors title as well now then. Got a healthy lead in that at the moment, so if we can just keep on maintaining these good point scores, then we should hopefully have that wrapped up soon as well. So that's it for these 2 races then. Hope you enjoyed them, and if you did, then like we appreciated, and I shall see you next time.